All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a UFC fight announcement. So the UFC has booked third-ranked flyweight Lauren Murphy to take on fourth-ranked flyweight Jessica Andrade at UFC 283 on January 21st of 2023. So just a few months away, and this pay-per-view is going to take place in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So I believe this is the first pay-per-view in Brazil in quite a while, if my memory serves me correctly. So we got number 3 taking on number 4. Certainly makes sense rankings wise, and neither of them have been booked for a little while. Both fighters coming off of recent wins. Should make for a good one. And I'll get more into it in a little bit. But first, let's start where we usually start with, at the stats here. So going to Tapology. Tapology has them reversed for some reason, but just Bate Estaca Andrade coming in at 23-9. Lucky Lauren Murphy coming in at 16-5. Now, Andrade riding 2 straight wins. First at flyweight against Cynthia Calvillo, and then most recently she fought at strawweight against Amanda Lemos. That was 5 months ago. Murphy coming in off of a win over Misha Tate 3 months ago at flyweight. Most before that, she had her failed title bid against Valentina Shevchenko about a year ago. Looking at the age here, Murphy definitely on the wrong side of her 30s. She is 39 to Andrade's 31. Murphy will have a nice height advantage at 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters to 5 feet 1 inch, 155 centimeters for Andrade. And that extends to the reach as well. 68 inches, 173 centimeters for Murphy to 62 inches, 157 centimeters for Andrade. So I like this fight. I mean, granted, I'm fairly easy to please with matchups, but I do like this fight. I mean, you got number 3 taking on number 4, which is the right kind of rankings move that I always like to see. You know, I don't like fights where people are like, oh, number 1's taking on number 6 or something ridiculous where they're like more than, 3 spots apart. So I like that. And you have one of the hardest hitting women in the sport in Jessica Andrade taking on one of the toughest, most durable women in this sport in Lucky Lauren Murphy. So I think this fight is definitely going to be a battle of, you know, unstoppable force versus, the unmovable wall almost. And that in itself makes this fight interesting. I mean, Andrade just. Here's the thing about Andrade. People to this day are still like, oh, she's not she's just not technical. She gets by on her strength and athleticism. It's like, do you even know what you're watching? Because I think every time I see, every time I see Jessica Andrade out, I think she's getting a little bit better and a little bit better with it from a technical standpoint. And I think she was always underrated technically, but I think the last few years she's definitely gone by under the radar as far as her technical skills go, because she has definitely improved a lot. And then Murphy, Murphy's one of those fighters where you struggle to think, well, what does she do really good? And it's not really a whole lot. She's just one of those fighters who is just well rounded enough that she's going to give anyone she faces fits and troubles. And that's what makes her interesting. Also, what really makes Murphy interesting is that she is an absolute grinder. I mean, she's like a grindstone. You go into a fight with her, and it's not going to be a clean fight, no matter who you are. Like, short of the champ in Shevchenko, you go into a fight against Lauren Murphy, you're not really coming out unscathed. You're not really coming out with a clean win. She's going to take you into those deep waters. She's going to make the fight murky and mucky, and you're going to go through the mud against Lauren Murphy, because she's just well-rounded enough that no matter where you go to take the fight, she's going to be able to keep up with you. Like, you're going to have a hard time pulling away in a fight against Lauren Murphy, no matter how good you are and no matter what area it is. She's good enough in the other areas that you're not going to be able to pull away from her. And that's what makes Lauren Murphy fights interesting, in that she'll take fighters who are very clean technically and make them look not so good. Plus, you add her endurance, her durability, and then you throw it up against someone like Jessica Andrade, who just is known for demolishing opponents. I mean, she demolished Katlyn Chookagian in flyweight in her first fight. And then she came up short against a champ, which tends to happen. And then she took on Cynthia Calvillo and finished her in the first round. So 2 out of 3 of Andrade's fights at flyweight are first round finishes. Then she goes back down to strawweight and finishes a contender in Lemos in the first round. So that's 3 out of her last 4 fights have been first round finishes, because she is one of those unstoppable forces. So yeah, you got the unstoppable force in Andrade versus basically the unmovable wall or the unmovable obstacle in Murphy. And I think this fight's going to be fun. At the very least, it should be fun. And I think the result should be very interesting. Anyway, those are my initial thoughts on this fight. Lucky Lauren Murphy taking on Jessica Andrade at UFC, what is the number on this? 283, January 21st in Brazil. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you liked the vid, please give it a like, share it as well to your various social media pages. And while you're at it, if you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Wmma Scene now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.